Some dishes start live regionally and then make their way across the country, and the same is true.
But I don't know anything about clam chowder.
And I remember having it for the first time at a very expensive.
Hey guys, it's the Loud Guys. Today we are going to watch 6 food dishes I only discovered after moving to America. So we have seen like America has a lot of different variety of foods and mostly non-vegetarian, or you can say meat or fish foods. But yes, like he is a British person, so how much is the difference like within the British and American food?
I think would be firstly it would be the size of the food, because in America everything is in huge quantity.
Yes, and actually, and also with the huge quantity, there are some dishes that he did not knew before moving to America. So let's see what are those dishes.
In the meantime, here are 6 food dishes that I never encountered back in Britain, but did so once I moved here.
Clam
Before
chowder?
I became a resident of the United States, the words clam and chowder very rarely found themselves emanating from my mouth. And similarly, the food item in question very rarely entered it. In fact, it never did, because clam chowder is, of course, a dish that is specifically synonymous with American cuisine and, even more specifically, Northeastern cuisine. And for my non-American viewers who might be thinking, what the heck is clam chowder? Hopefully not at such a high frequency. Clam chowder is basically a chowder soup that contains clams. Was that really so difficult? And perhaps appropriately for somebody from Old England, I'm most familiar with New England clam chowder. And you might be thinking, ooh, Lawrence, but I thought you lived in the Midwest. And I do live in the Midwest. But something that you need to know about the United States is that while it does have a lot of sort of regional dishes that remain regional to that region, some dishes start live regionally and then make their way across the country, and the same is true.
But I don't know anything about clam chowder.
And I remember having it for the first time at a very expensive seafood restaurant. And before you go, oh, Lawrence, it sounds like somebody's getting a little too big for their boots. This was 10 years ago. In Indianapolis. And to prove to you that I remain a completely down-to-earth YouTube sensation, the only other time that I've had clam chowder was in a mall, because this is America, where there are more food courts than legal courts. That's probably not true.
Same in India. Meatloaf.
If you'd have asked me 20 years ago, Lawrence, what is meatloaf? My answer would have been unequivocal. Meatloaf is that actor that was in Fight Club, the same guy that used to sing power ballads written by John Steinbeck. I think I was supposed to say Jim Steinman. But during the harsh winter of 2008, was it really that? It wasn't that bad. I was introduced to a food item by the name of meatloaf. And it is literally, as the name suggests, a loaf of meat, smushed together with other ingredients until it forms the shape of, well, bread, which I've just realised is the name of another 70s
meatloaf, loaf of bread.
Just like with bread, it's usually served in slices, which is something I wish somebody would have told me before I tried to eat it with a spoon. Anyway, meatloaf, the food, is not something that most British people would be familiar with. But in doing a little bit of research for this video, I discovered that haslet, which is a cut of meat that originated in my home county of Lincolnshire, is itself a type of meatloaf that doesn't enjoy anywhere near the ubiquity, a word that they dared me to get into the video, that meatloaf does in the United States.
Chicken fried
Well,
steak.
some of the dishes on this list came to my attention more or less immediately after I moved to America. There are some I only found out about in the last couple of years. And indeed, those of you who were watching my channel 2 years ago will know that this includes a dish called chicken fried steak. In fact, if it hadn't been for my collaboration with a Scottish YouTube sensation by the name of Sean, I might to this day have no idea what that is.
Chicken fried steak. Have you ever heard of chicken fried steak?
Never heard of it. Where did you see that?
It was in this diner, and it was, I didn't know if it was chicken or steak, but I think it's beef.
Anyway, don't take my word for it. Instead, here's me from 2 years ago with more details. That's amazing.
Wow, I've heard fried
Gravy
chicken.
that makes it. I'm just going to try a little piece without gravy to see what that's like. Yeah, even without gravy, it's definitely still fried. But Sean was right. I mean, this is pretty phenomenal, and I think that, you know, if I could, I'd eat one of these every day, but I'd go into cardiac arrest. Perhaps the biggest surprise is that while it does indeed contain steak, and while it is indeed fried, there is no chicken. And speaking of chicken, guess what's for dinner? I'll give you a clue. It arrived courtesy of today's sponsor,
Just a clickbait.
Factor 75. And I say arrived because for me that's the best thing about Factor meals.
Cornbread.
There are two ways about it. Americans are obsessed with chili. You might be thinking, Lawrence, the transition slide didn't say anything about chili. What are you talking about? Well, chili in this country is often accompanied by a side dish that seems particularly popular with my wife's family, cornbread. And just to be clear, since there seems to be a pattern emerging here, that is not corn as in the new metal band. No, corn as in cornmeal, which is the chief ingredient of cornbread. And it's pretty nice when it's not green, which is an allusion to a video I made in which it was. Either way, cornbread is one of many examples pointing to America's obsession with corn. At the state fair, you have corn dogs. At Halloween, you have candy corn. And in everything, you have corn syrup.
Yeah, corn syrup.
For most of
Biscuits
us Brits
and
who
gravy
relocate here to America,
are a British
hearing
thing,
the
no?
word biscuits and gravy in the same sentence is
They
profoundly
are
frightening. Because there are two things that I think most
British
of us
thing.
don't know until we move here. Number one, the gravy in question is usually this sort of thick,
cheesy
white concoction that's quite spicy. Compare this to the gravy that we're used to back home, provided by the likes of Bisto, which is a darker, thinner kind of liquid. But the other major difference is the way in which Americans define the word biscuit. In Britain, of course, a biscuit is what Americans
cookie like
Americans call it
So
cookies.
perhaps you can see why the term biscuits and gravy might make us do a bit of sick. Until we learn that in America, a biscuit is a form of savoury baked bread that they push on you a little too much at Red Lobster.
Baked
And I say
bread.
too much because American-style biscuits are actually really nice. And I have been known to devour 6 or 7 of those before my fish and chips arrives. Of course I still eat the fish and chips. Do you think I'm a psychopath? And I must say, since it is a popular dish here in the Midwest, biscuits and gravy is actually quite nice once you've overcome the initial trauma. Finally,
Tacos.
tacos.
But now they're worldwide.
Tacos. An entry that really ought to come with a couple of caveats. Number one, tacos, like a lot of popular dishes in America, aren't actually American. To which you are thinking, no
Canadian.
they're obviously Mexican. But,
No.
as I've spoken about a lot on this channel, Mexican food is very popular here in the US. As I've also pointed out, it has in recent years gained a foothold back in the UK. But I haven't been there for any of that. So I only encountered tacos, both the word and the food, in the years that I've been living on this side of the pond. And of all of the many Mexican dishes you can get here, tacos seem to be the one with which Americans are most obsessed.
Wow.
Basically, if you don't know what tacos are, then you're not from North America. You take a mini tortilla. I know how it's pronounced, I'm just messing with them. And you put
Tortilla.
whatever on them, chicken, guacamole, beans, salsa, and you wrap it up.
Looks delicious.
Very
Badly in my
healthy meal.
case. And you just eat about maybe 3 of them. Personally though, I find it easier and maybe less messy just to have a quesadilla. Which makes me realise this entire list could have just been Mexican food.
So most of the things were like meat based, so we cannot try them out. But I wished we can try that tacos with the like vegetarian gravy in it. What do you think?
Yes, actually, and tacos are still popular in India too
India
because
too,
of
yeah.
Taco Bell, and like they are now everywhere. Also, the thing is like I still don't know what clam chowder means and what is clam chowder,
Yeah.
and like we have never heard of
Like,
any
have
such
you
thing.
tried that biscuit gravy?
Biscuits and gravy? No, I've seen a video about it and it looked a bit delicious.
Yeah,
So I
really?
thought, yeah, why not? I will try it once because biscuits and gravy also look.
Because what I think is gravy is something that is spicy and biscuits are sweet. So like how can you
It is
combo-
actually like that. It is actually.
It is
like
actually like
Yeah.
actual sweet biscuits.
Yes.
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah, but not biscuits like us. Like we also call biscuits the British way.
British way. Yeah.
But the biscuit of theirs, American
Their
way.
biscuits. Oh,
Yeah.
that I think I must be assuming that are like bit soft and moist.
Yeah, he's saying made out of bread and
Bread,
those
yeah,
things.
yeah.
So it's a bit different. And also the gravy is a bit salty and like bit savory kind of
Savory
thing.
kind
Yeah.
of.
So it is the food is very actually different from what we have heard. Like tacos is one thing that I knew, and meatloaf I've heard 1 or 2 times. That's it. So
Meatloaf,
these dishes are actually something that we will only discover in America. So what do you guys think about it? Do let us know in the comment section below. So do like, share, and
Subscribe.
bye.